The last thing I expected that Tuesday morning was to hear blood-curdling screams echoing through the canyon, followed by my alpaca Bolt trotting back toward the barn head held high and a shredded designer handbag swinging from his mouth like he'd just won Best in Show at the county fair. I barely had time to set my coffee down before Spitfire, my second guard alpaca, came barreling in after him, his woolly coat streaked with mascara and what I can only guess was self-tanner. Then came the voice that made me choke on my coffee, Karen from across the pasture, screeching about assault and threatening lawsuits, dragging her flip-flop through the grass and clutching her shaking Pomeranian. Right then I knew something had gone sideways, and I was about to spend my day knee-deep in both drama and probably alpaca spit. Now, if there's one thing I've learned living out here on this hard-scrabble stretch of Colorado ranch land, it's that when my alpacas get involved, justice doesn't show up in a suit, it shows up in wool with an attitude. But let's rewind, because this circus didn't start with screams and purses. It started as all good country feuds do, with scissors. When I bought this place 4 years ago, all I wanted was a quiet patch of earth, a place where I could live on my own terms, raise a handful of animals, and drink my morning coffee without someone honking at me because I didn't make a left turn fast enough. The land was perfect, tucked between two rolling hills, big sky overhead, clean air, and a fence line I'd built myself post by post with calluses and pride. The neighbors decent, mostly kept to themselves. That is until 2 months ago, when Karen and her husband Doug rolled in fresh from suburbia, towing a U-Haul full of matching patio furniture, a yappy dog named Princess, and enough attitude to block Wi-Fi for a mile. Their mansion sat on the ridge like some kind of suburban lighthouse manicured lawn that looked vacuumed, an American flag the size of a bedsheet, and a Ring camera pointed directly at my compost pile. The first time we met, she didn't come over with cookies. She marched across the lawn demanding I do something about the smell of my compost. Never mind, it was 50 yards away and downwind. At first I thought maybe she'd settle in, let country living soften her edges. Nope. If anything, she sharpened them. Complained about my rooster crowing, griped that my tractor was too loud, even came up to my barn one afternoon just to yell at me for hanging laundry out to dry instead of using a proper machine. But the real tipping point: one Friday morning, sunshining, bird singing, I find a clean, deliberate cut in my back fence. My first thought, coyote calf gone wild. But then I checked the security footage. There she was, Karen in yoga pants and a sun hat, strutting across my pasture like she owned it, garden shears in hand. She snipped a doorway-sized hole in my fence, stepped through with her dog, and looked straight into the camera to give a little wave like she was checking in at a luxury spa. That night I patched the hole more out of hope than any real belief it would stop her. What Karen didn't know was that Bolt and Spitfire aren't just adorable balls of fluff, they're trained livestock guardians. I spent months getting them ready, scent markers, vocal cues, practice drills. They're sweet with people they know, but strangers, trespassers. Let's just say they handle business, and if you run or scream well, you get treated like a coyote with sticky fingers. Sure enough, next morning Karen's back, this time dressed like she's headed to a country club. White tracksuit Crocs with fake diamonds, floppy hat, the works. She waltzes right through my makeshift barricade, kicks a board aside, and acts like she's starring in her own reality show. Bolt's ears go up. Spitfire grunts. I watch from the barn, coffee in hand. Karen's 10 feet from them before she notices, and then in her best commanding voice she tries to shoo Bolt away. Big mistake. Bolt charges that slow, deliberate kind of run that says I mean it. Karen screams, turns trips and faceplants into the wildflowers. Spitfire lunges, yanks her purse off, and swings it around. The Pomeranian's doing laps, Karen's wailing about animal cruelty, and I just stand there a little stunned, a lot entertained. Eventually she crawls back through the fence covered in grass and mud, glaring at me like I'd planned this as some elaborate payback. I give her a nod, raise my mug, don't say a word. By dinner, she's already posted a rant in the neighborhood Facebook group, claiming she was attacked by wild llamas while walking her support animal. The comments roast her. One neighbor corrects her alpacas, Karen, not llamas. Another posts a meme. By sunset, her pity party is deleted, but the screenshots live on. Welcome to small town justice, Karen. But that was just round one. because Karen isn't the type to back down. Next day, a county animal control truck pulls up my drive. Out steps an officer, clipboard, sunglasses, the whole deal, asking if this is the place with the feral llamas. I nearly spit out my coffee. I correct him, show him my camera footage, and together we watch Karen trespass, break my fence, and get outmaneuvered by Bolt and Spitfire. The officer laughs, mumbles about nuisance complaint, repeats, and files a counter report against her for a false claim. Not his first Karen rodeo, apparently. He checks my livestock paperwork. Bolt and Spitfire registered, vaccinated, microchipped, even have little ID photos. He chuckles at Spitfire's mugshot. Before he leaves, he says, I hope you don't mind if I call next time. This is better than TV. That evening, animal control shows up on Karen's porch. Instead, turns out her emotional support dog's missing shots and paperwork. The irony, I gotta say, was thick as country gravy. Peace lasts about 3 days. Then I spot Karen pacing the edge of my property with a guy in a neon vest and a roll of blueprints. I send a heads-up email to the county just in case. 2 days later, confirmation Karen's filed for a community wellness project. She wants to build a public walking path straight through my pasture, claiming historic easement. She actually calls it a health benefit. The county laughs it off. I send in my deed and fence records, case closed, until a pair of contractors show up to start pouring gravel on my land. That's when Bolt and Spitfire step in. Again, contractors step in, a big pile of Alpaca, protest, gag, and Bolt. Karen's back, furious, yelling threats about lawyers and sabotage. I just point to the no trespassing sign and the barn camera. That night, I find a blinking surveillance camera duct taped to my irrigation pipe. Karen's trying to catch my animals being aggressive. I remove it, set up my own camera, and for a week project a video loop of Karen getting chased by Bolt on the side of my barn. The whole town turns up to watch, popcorn in hand. Karen rips out her camera in a rage, but by now, she's a local legend. But this war isn't over. Next thing I know, a flatbed truck pulls up at dawn. Workers start laying gravel for her community path, led by Karen in a fake ranger outfit, whistle and all. Bolt strolls over, plants himself right on the gravel, and well, let's just say the workers rethink their life choices. Karen tries waving around a fake permit. The sheriff's office confirms not valid. And fun twist, Karen's property isn't even officially in the HOA. She's been bossing everyone around without any actual authority. I think that'll be the end, but Karen gets creative. Hidden cameras disguised as rocks. Cookies laced with CBD to calm my animals caught her bragging online, so I save the evidence for animal control. I respond with another barn slideshow. The scissors strike gravel of deceit. People come by for the show. The sheriff, popcorn in hand, laughs so hard he nearly falls off my porch. Karen tries to weld my alpaca gate shut one night, seriously, with a portable welder and zero clue. I catch it all on video. Next morning, Bolt pops the gate open with his head like nothing happened. This time, it's enough. I hand all my footage, fence cutting, trespassing, cookie tampering, midnight welding over to the sheriff. Within days, Karen's cited for everything from animal tampering to property damage. The HOA boots her from every committee, and for a brief, blissful spell, the neighborhood is actually peaceful. Of course, it doesn't last. Karen files a zoning complaint, tries to get my ranch movie nights labeled illegal events. She sends anonymous online reports, animal neglect, petting, zoo violations, all routed straight back to local officers who by now know the saga better than I do. After one last warning from the sheriff for misuse of public complaint systems, Karen escalates to a sign war. She installs a huge vicious animals community at risk board at the fence. I counter with private property trespassers will be spit on, complete with a picture of Bolt mid-salvo. Locals line up for selfies. A t-shirt shop prints "Spit Happens" and proceeds go to the animal shelter. I send everything to the HOA president, Earl, who'd been quietly collecting stories. With the evidence piled high, they vote Karen out for good. No more committees, no more authority. To celebrate, I host a wedding for my buddy Jack under the sycamore. Bolt wears a bow tie. Spitfire grunts during the vows. Karen storms out of her house in slippers to shout about illegal gatherings, but nobody listens. The sheriff tells her to have cake or go home. She chooses door number 2. Then the story blows up online. A reporter calls. I agree to an interview on one condition: they highlight the ranch's rescue animals. The story, complete with Bolt and Spitfire as the fluffy Avengers, goes viral. Memes, coffee mugs, animated clips, even the local news covers it. Karen Blinds Drawn tries one final move, an environmental inspection with a clipboard and a friend. She claims my pasture is a threat to her water runoff. When she reaches over my fence with a metal probe, I show her the restraining order from the last court hearing. Her friend practically drags her away. The internet eats it up, Reddit, TikTok, everywhere. Donations pour in for the shelter. Karen becomes a meme, and I become that guy with the justice alpacas. Finally, the last straw, Karen's banned from the HOA, no more anonymous reports. Every lawyer refuses her case. One morning, a moving truck pulls in. Doug looks exhausted. Karen keeps her head down, princess in tow. As the truck rolls out, it bumps the same section of fence she once cut, swinging the gate open. Bolt and Spitfire stroll over. Karen shrieks. Bolt deposits one last gift on the gravel. I just lean on the fence post and watch the circus roll out once and for all. Peace settles in for real this time. Kids visit the ranch, neighbors actually smile, the pasture is calm. Bolt and Spitfire get little plaques on the barn wall, service above spit. And every now and then I look out at that field, quiet, golden still, and remember justice out here doesn't come from courts or committees. Sometimes all it takes is patience, a good camera, and a couple of alpacas who take their job a whole lot more seriously than some folks ever will. So tell me this. Where's the line between standing your ground and fighting petty with petty? Did karma work out the way it should? Or did I just get lucky with the world's sassiest livestock? Drop your thoughts. Share your stories, especially if you've ever stared down your own Karen across a property line. Out here, we learn the hard way. Fences keep animals insured, but sometimes they're really there to keep the wildest creatures out.